Hello, I'm Michelle Dixon, Director of Strategy at Arts Council England. Welcome to this recorded session on the Activity Plan for Outcomes. This template is a component of the 2023 National Portfolio application process. If you're applying to become an investment principles support organisation, you will need to complete the activity plan for investment principles support organisations rather than the activity plan for outcomes. You can find all the resources and information you need to complete that template on our website. Each applicant for the national portfolio will need to complete and provide 3 templates as part of their application: the financial templates, the investment principle plan, and the activity plan for outcomes. If you're unsure which activity plan you need to complete, please refer to the applicant guidance on our website. You can find out all you need to know about applying to be part of the national portfolio on our website, www.artscouncil.org.uk/NPO23. This includes information for getting access support from a member of our team if you need it. This presentation is available on our website in 2 formats, one with BSL interpretation and the other with subtitles. We also have a how-to guide on our website, along with an example template populated with example answers. In this session, we will go through what the activity plan is, what it's for, why we're using it, and what you need to tell us when you're filling it in. The activity plan for outcomes is a template which requires you to demonstrate how your ambitions align with our strategy. We're requesting this information using a template to ensure that the information we receive for MPO applications is consistent and comparable. The template allows us to ensure we can easily, clearly, and fairly assess applications. If you don't use the correct templates, we may not be able to consider your application. To help you complete the template, we advise you to take a look through our strategy Let's Create, where we outline and define our 3 outcomes. You can find this on our website at www.artscouncil.org.uk/outcomes-O. Let's take a look at the activity plan for outcomes. When you open this template, it will always open up on this main page. You'll find a key at the top, just here. This lets you know what information we need you to input into each cell as we go through. If you wish to alter your view of the template, you can use the zoom in and out function to the bottom right of your screen, just here. In this box, you'll need to state the name of the organisation making the application to become an MPO. And in this box here, you'll need to quote your project unique reference number, which is generated when you begin making your application on Grantium. This number should start with NPOP. This template is a tool for you to tell us how your organisation's proposed activity for 2023 to 2024 will contribute to our Let's Create outcomes and their associated elements. There's only one template, whether you're applying to deliver against 1, 2, or 3 outcomes, and you'll be able to tell us about a total of up to 10 activities, so you'll need to think about how best to present your activity. Remember, this activity is only for 2023 to 2024. To begin, use the drop-down here to select which of our primary outcomes the activity you are going to deliver will contribute to. This can be either creative people, cultural communities, or a creative and cultural country. You can only select one outcome per activity entered, so only include activities where contributions to the selected outcome are clear and demonstrable. You'll be able to tell us more about your wider activity plans in the narrative sections of the application form. Once you've selected the primary outcome, you must use the tick boxes here to indicate which associated elements of the selected outcome your activity will fulfill. If you move to the right of the template, you'll see definitions of each element. You can select multiple elements, but you should ensure you only select those that support the primary outcome you chose for that activity. Let's look at an example. So I've chosen cultural communities here. I've ticked 3 of the 4 elements that I think are being contributed to through this example. And then here in the activity box, you'll see that you have 250 characters to describe your proposed activity. This means that you'll need to be as concise as possible. To the right here is a box for your output or outputs. By outputs, we mean what your activity will produce, such as a performance, publication, exhibition, or workshop. You can list your output or outputs in this box here. For each output, we then ask you to write your proposed targets and success measures. A proposed target is who or what you plan to impact or develop as a result of your output, often using figures and percentages to outline your aim. A success measure tells us how you'll judge that the output has achieved what you aimed it to do. There's a maximum count of 600 characters for your proposed targets and success measures. So you'll see on this example that we've used average attendance, the percentage of the audience that's new to the organisation. We've mentioned the digital reach and the number of children and young people engaged at workshops. And we've talked about evaluating the impact on participants and attendees. We then need you to provide location details for each activity that you're detailing in the template. By clicking the link under Location Details, you'll be taken to a location form for the relevant activity you've entered. You'll see that there's a separate location form for each proposed activity, and you'll need to complete these for every activity you've entered, even if the location of your activities are all the same. Let's take a look at the location form for this activity. We recognise when making your application, you may not know the exact location of your proposed activity, but where possible, we want you to provide as much detail as you can. If your activity isn't location specific, for example, if it's a product or physical resource and it doesn't have a digital output, then you can tick the box at the top of the form here. Zoom in so that you can see that a little bit more clearly. The example that I used has a digital component, but also has physical delivery. So I wouldn't tick this box for that example. For activities that include a digital aspect, then please use this tick box here. On the location sheet, you'll see here that there are a list of local authorities split into the 5 English regions: London, Midlands, North, South East and South West. These regions have been categorised using the Office for National Statistics regional definitions. The local authorities that are in bold, here for example, are the Arts Council's priority places. These are 54 places that we've identified where we want to increase both our staff resources and our financial investment. We'd like you to tell us which local authorities you anticipate your proposed activity will take place in. To do this, you'll need to calculate how many days of activity you're planning to hold in each local authority and enter that figure in the number of days column here. I've entered 8.5 against Middlesbrough here, which is the total for the number of performances and workshops that we're delivering in our example. You'll see I've got 0.5 to capture a half day there. Remember that where possible, the numbers that you include in this column, number of days, should correspond to the outputs, potential targets and success measures that you provided on the main activity form. For more guidance on how to calculate the number of days for different types of activity and performances, read the template how-to guide on the website. You'll see that under the regional list of local authorities, there's also an unsure where yet box at the bottom of each of the columns. Where you know the region your activity will take place in, but not the specific local authority, you can provide the number of days in this box here next to unsure where yet. So perhaps I have 1 day of activity in the Midlands that I'm not sure about yet. I'd adjust that accordingly. In the top right corner here, there's a link to the gov.uk website where you can search a postcode to find out which local authority it belongs to. So if you know the name of the venue or the place where the activity will take place, but you're not sure which local authority it's in, just use the postcode on that lookup service there. If your activity will be held across all of England rather than in a few specific local authorities, tick the box at the top of the form here that says this activity has national reach. You don't need to complete the fields for every local authority if your activity takes place in all of them. And don't worry if you're unable to provide a location at local authority level. We'd just like you to provide as much information as you can. If any part of your activity is happening outside of England, use the location boxes provided to the right of the form here. Again, add the number of days of planned activity against your selected locations. Once you've added the estimated number of days for each of your selected locations, the total number of days proposed for your activity will appear in this box. When you've provided the location information for your activity, click Return to Activity Plan here at the top left. And then you can move on to repeat the process to add your next activity, if you have one. Don't forget to make use of the other resources on our website that I mentioned at the start of this presentation, the how-to guide and the example of completed templates, www.artscouncil.org.uk/NPO23. Depending on when you're watching this video, you might have time to book onto one of our digital briefings where we'll talk about the whole application process for the national portfolio. If you're watching after the sessions have happened, don't worry, recordings of all of them will be available on our website. Thank you for watching and listening.